everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy of Amy J's Creations, and this is Flosstube 23. Yes, 23. Hi everybody. How have you been? I've been doing pretty good. Almost everyone around me has been infected with COVID or Omicron or whatever. Not horribly, just bad cold. So far, we still have not gotten it, even though we have had contact with these people. And we have no more mask mandate, which I was fine and happy with wearing my mask wherever. I think it really helped. We all have been vaccinated and boosted, but it was still really fun this past week when they lifted the rules. And we got to go to the grocery store without a mask, and go out to a restaurant without a mask, and go to church without a mask. It was pretty fun. There's still some people who wear them, and I totally get it. More power to you. And if I feel like I'm going to get sick, I probably will continue to wear a mask out in public as well. But it was really fun to not have to deal with that. All right. So let's get into my stitching. What have I been working on in this past 2 weeks? First of all, I'm going to show you the progress on the stitch I was working on for my Whip Go last time. I had only worked 5 days on it, and that's this pattern right there from Oh My Stitches shop. And then I worked another 10 days or 5 days to get my goal of 10 days. Look at the progress on this thing. Oh my gosh. Like, you can still see there's a couple of parts where I need a little more. I've only done one direction I need to go fill in. But this thing, it's on my board again for another 10 days. It is not going to take me another 10 days to finish this thing. I'm loving it. Her patterns are fantastic. They're beautiful. They're detailed, they're really cool and unique, but they go fast because there's a lot of big blocks that you can fill in quickly. I will say this, I went on her website, Oh My Stitches again, and looked, and this pattern and the Yoda pattern are no longer on there. And I have a feeling it's because they're Star Wars themed. And those things are copyrighted, and like Disney, who owns them now, is really well known for being kind of jerks about their copyrights. And so they hunt down even the smallest, littlest, tiny person who's not hurting them in any way or taking any money for them, because when has Disneyland ever commissioned an actual real cross stitch pattern? Very rarely, and certainly not like this. But I have a feeling that if you messaged her and said, hey, I saw this pattern that somebody else was doing, she might be able to send you the PDF. Because she still must have the pattern somewhere, right? She created it. Just saying. Because it's awesome. She has a whole line of these silhouette things. I've so many different things. She used to have Disney princesses, which again, I haven't seen on her site for a while, like I said. But this, so I'm really excited for when that gets called next on Whip Go, because it will definitely be a finish. And so then my second Whip Go number was, again, by Oh My Stitches, and it was Yoda. Now, I did change the colors a bit after consulting with my son, because it was also supposed to be the same design, that it was like a clouds and sky, but it was Yoda. And he kind of really wanted Yoda to be green. And I didn't like the blue that was chosen for the blue sky. And so we decided, in Star Wars land, there's all kinds of creepy, weird planets with weird atmospheres. So we went with the green. Dark green sky, light green cloud. And look at this thing. Now, and I will tell you, this is I've been working on this for 7 full days, and I worked on it a little bit this morning. Like for like, I don't know, an hour or something. It's almost done. My goal was to work on it for 10 days. And I am highly confident that if it doesn't get done by the end of the 10 days, that it will need like one more day, if anything, to finish. It's fantastic. In fact, I like it so much and it's going so quick that I'm going to stitch another one because my other child, who loves Star Wars, you may have seen her comment, she would like one as well. And so I'm going to make one for her. Or for me if she wants the Darth Vader one. I don't really care. But oh my gosh, it's the coolest freaking thing. And it's going so fast, and I just love it. The one problem I did, is I cut the fabric, but I still started down a little bit low, so my bottom pattern is pretty close to the edge, but I don't like a lot of extra fabric anyway, so I think it's going to be fine. But, okay, I'm trying to get the knot shadow on it. It's awesome. And these are both done on 32 count opalescent, white opalescent from Zweigart that I picked. I bought a full meter of it at the factory. And as I was telling my friend Ina yesterday when we met up, that'll probably be enough fabric for the rest of my life because there's so much. Because not only is it a full meter, but then it's like super wide fabric. So anyway, yeah, super, super, super happy with those. Next WIPCO numbers will be called on the 27th, and it's only the 24th today. So I don't know what I'll be working on next, but I love WIPCO. Thank you, Jessie Marie, for coming up with that thing. It's fantastic for getting stuff done and yet still having variety and fun in your cross stitching. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so the other thing then is again my 25/7 stitching, and that is Hometown Holidays. I have been working on the station. And I will admit, I have loved Yoda so much that some days I only stitched on Yoda and I didn't do my 25 minutes on this. But then there were other days where I'd stitch on this for like an hour or an hour and a half. And so I think overall it's average that I've still been doing my 25 minutes for 7 days. It's coming along very nicely. As you can see, I did end up doing what I had talked about. Is that gonna... There we go. Where I have mixed one strand of hickory sticks with one strand of the 310 to get the slightly darker for the engine, and then it'll go around here for the thing. I also messed up a little bit. This house is one stitch off. But the good thing was I was super consistent. So like this bottom is fine. It's literally just a house. And I noticed because I was starting to do the windows and it's supposed to be 3 little openings, 2 each. And I didn't have enough openings. So I changed the window and I figure only you will know and I will know because I explained it to you. But anybody else who's looking at this wouldn't be like, that house station looks 1 stitch short. They're not going to know. So I was this far into it. Almost all the rest of this was done. I was not going to rip that out. That's ludicrous. So, yep, here it is. All the way. Isn't it fun that we can make these things that make us so happy, that we think are beautiful, that we can't wait to have hanging in our home all the time? What a fantastic craft this is. I can't paint. I've tried. I took several watercoloring painting classes from my friend who is super good at it and is like an actual artist. It was super fun, the class. I'm really glad I went. Ugly paintings for me. But being able to cross stitch and make these things is just so fun. How lucky we are. How lucky we are that we can do that for ourselves. Okay, one of the other things I started was, it was Valentine's, and Dawn is laughing at me because she said she didn't know Valentine's was the season. Yeah, girl, it is. Entire month of February is the month of love. Get with the program. And it can be friend love, it can be family love, it can be romantic love, it can be animal love. But I think the world needs a month where we focus on love. And so I did start, Flash, the new pattern, Hugs and Kisses, that I bought from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I changed the colors because I didn't like the blue. For me, Valentine is as much garish red and pink combinations as you can get. And so I changed some of the coloring. I took out the 2 blues and substituted 2 other pinks, a dark pink and a light pink, because there was a dark blue and a light blue. This is as much as I got started. And then that Yoda was just calling to me. And I haven't touched this since, as you can see. This was one day. So I'll probably work on this for the last couple days of the month. Once I will have like 2 or 3 days of February left when I finish my Whip Go goal on Yoda, and I will work on this, and I will probably get it done in that time. It's not that big. I am stitching it on a bigger count because I have, if you remember that silver tray that I finished my Pine Needles Halloween countdown month on, and the Christmas one, I want to put this on there too. And so this is I believe it's like a 10 count. It's a 10 count White Ada, again from Zweigart. I bought it for my daughter to help her with her cross stitching to make it easier. But you know what? I'll stitch on any fabric. I don't, if I have it, I'll use it. And Ada is fun because it goes quick. It's good for when you need to count things. And I love a good white, and this bigger count will make it fit what I want to. And it's a simple pattern anyway, so it doesn't, like I can see a fancy sampler or something, a primitive thing you would want on really fine count. But this, big count all the way, baby. All right. So now, that's all my stitching, folks. I mean, it was a lot of stitching, but because of Whip Go, again, I keep repeating myself. I don't have that many projects. But I was gifted some stitchy kindness from 2 different people. And it just makes my little heart. That's what happened. So I've mentioned my friend Dawn before, who lives in Basel, Frosty X Stitch. She also has Flosstubes. And she speaks English in them, for those of you who are thinking, I can't watch somebody from Switzerland. I mean, I'm from Switzerland, but I'm American. But she's actually Swiss. Her mom is English. So she's half an but she grew up here. Anyhow, blah, blah, blah. She heard in my last Flosstube that I was getting low on that one DMC color that I needed for the sky on the Darth Vader mask pattern, and she sent it to me. And I was so happy because I did use up my full skein, and I am using her skein that she sent me. She had a backup one, and I'm so happy I started doing floss tubes, if for no other reason that I now have stitchy friends that, even though we don't live super close together, we have a friendship. We have this connection, and it was awesome. That was so, so kind of her. So thank you, Dawn, very much. And then my second one is my friend Ina, who does not have a floss tube, but she watches. Hi, Ina. We met through Pam and Steph's Stitch Harmony, and we now get together pretty regularly. I've gone out where she lives twice, which is she lives kind of near the Austrian-German border of Switzerland. And I'm in Zurich. And so yesterday, because today is Thursday, yesterday she took the train and we spent the day, well, all morning and part of the early afternoon together in Zurich. We went to a fancy, the Sprungli Cafe, and got some delicious hot chocolate and croissant. And then the waiter was not clearing our dishes because it was very busy actually. So we just set him off to the side on the window ledge, cross-stitched at the table there, ordered another tea and coffee, drank that while we stitched for a couple of hours and chatted. And then we went through a little walk through Zurich and just chatting the whole time. Oh, it's so fun to have a real live friend. And I'm super excited. Hopefully now that things are opening up, I can meet up with Dawn as well in Basel. But thank you, Ina, for coming out to Zurich and spending the morning with me. It was fantastic. She brought me something. And you're like, foam core, what's the big deal? Okay, let me tell you, okay? Here's your thing about Swiss life for this video. In Switzerland, we are kind of part of the European Union, but not really. We're not really part of the European Union, but they allow us to take part depending on if we give up some things. And a lot of times we're not willing to give up those things because if we wanted to be part of the EU, we would be part of the EU. So what that really affects is buying things, importing into Switzerland. We don't have an Amazon Switzerland. We only have Amazon Germany. And Amazon Germany, there are certain products that you can buy them, but they will not ship to Switzerland. They will ship to everywhere else in the EU. They will not ship to Switzerland. Or you have to buy a giant quantity in order for them to ship to you because we're in Switzerland. Or you have to ship it to, there's this company that we use that's right on the border inside Germany, and all it is this one room building, and they allow you to use their address to ship stuff from Amazon Germany to that address. They will hold it for you for up to like 2 weeks, I think, and then you go and you pay €2 to €3 to €4 a package, depending on how big it was, in addition for you, and they allow you to pick it up. So because she had to order this from Germany and she had to order a bunch because they wouldn't sell it to her in any smaller amounts, she had all this awesome foam cord. And it's pretty thick, but it will be really good for like flat standing things. And I can even frame it. Then it's thick enough I can try to pin some of my projects. So she brought me a couple board pieces of that. Very nice, especially since she had to, haul it all around the train. But then she made me this. It's a little scissor fob, double-sided, so cute, and gave me the Victoria Nux Stork scissors to go with it. So I told her, my rule is I can only have so many project bags that I have scissors for because I'm trying to not have too many whips at once because it's not a fun thing for me. It gets me anxious and I feel icky. But now I have this extra pair, which means I need a project bag for them to go inside. But I was too busy cross-stitching Yoda to work on one. I thought when I came home yesterday afternoon I might make a bag, but then I just wanted to keep stitching on Yoda instead. So I will do that as well once my whip goal is met on there. So I will have another project bag that I will show you next time so that I can put this in. And what I really love about this, my husband noticed it immediately, is these are teeny tiny acorns. Now, the little village that we live on, which is called Oikstammalbus, which is spelled completely weird, and even Swiss people go, huh? Anyway, its like symbol, its mascot is a squirrel, which is called an eichhorn, an eichhornli. And these acorns are what it eats. So it's really weird. So an eichhornli is a squirrel, but an eichhorn is the acorn that the squirrel eats. Anyway, so it fits very much with my life. Future plans, like I said, I've already talked about those, what I'm going to do the last couple of days in February, and then I'm hopefully going to have, new whip goes to start on, and I'm going to make a project bag. I do want to mention, I have gotten several new subscribers in the last little bit. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. I hope I'm entertaining and that you like sticking around. Please leave comments. This last time I didn't respond to a lot of the comments because it was like, I wasn't sure. They were like, I loved the comments, but it wasn't like, I couldn't think of anything suitable to answer. Like, it didn't seem like a conversation to set. Kind of, yes, but they were answering what I had already said. There was no answer back. That sounds really weird, and I probably overthink stuff, but whatever. But I love every single comment. Thank you. And especially, it's almost the same people all the time. You guys are awesome. You're like my OG crowd. So, but welcome to the new people. I don't know how you found me, but I'm super glad that you did. And I have I have 3 Flosstubers. They're under 1,000 subscribers. And that's really where I am focusing most of my Flosstube time these days. And so here they are. One is Mel, the Happy Stitcher, and I will, in the description box, I will try to link their videos down below. The Steadfast Stitcher and Stitching by Sarah. And what I have found is I don't really care what people cross stitch for the most part. I did unsubscribe from a famous duo who are absolutely lovely and super nice, but they mostly stitch old-fashioned samplers, and their videos are always like an hour and a half long. And I'm trying to watch more people, and so I still follow them on Instagram, both of them, but I don't watch their videos regularly anymore because they are almost always samplers. But for the most, I don't really do full coverage, but I love watching people who do full coverage because the whole process fascinates me, even though I'd never want to do it myself. And just a lot of variety. But also I'm drawn to people who just seem like they're kind of just like me. And I think all Flosstubers are. But it's like when you meet somebody in real life and you're like, you click and they're your friend. And then other people you meet and you're like, they're an okay person. I wouldn't mind hanging out with them, but you don't click with them. So that's these people I kind of clicked with. They don't necessarily cross stitch everything that I would do, but that would be boring if I only watched people who cross stitch the same stuff I do, I think. The other thing is I have slowed down a tiny little bit on my Flosstube watching because I have become completely sucked into Wheel of Time audiobooks. Now, I started with the TV show, watched it with my husband, who was super excited because he read all the books a couple years ago. And he'd been waiting for it to get made into a TV show. He'd heard that it was happening, and he was so excited. And then I was like, this is really good. I do want to read these books. So then we started listening to the first audiobook, read by Rosamund Pike, which also Lady Robin S. recommended. And that was excellent. And then I was like, but we had to wait till we were in the car together or going on a hike together to listen to the audiobook. And they're like the first one was like 24, 26 hours long, something like that. And so eventually, and it was taking forever, and I was like, I want to listen to more. And he said, okay. So he uploaded it to my phone, and I've been listening to that with my headphones while I've been, washing dishes, folding laundry, doing stuff around the house, and cross-stitching. Because at first I was like, oh, I'll watch Flosstubes when I cross-stitch and just listen to the book the rest of the time. But it's gotten so good. I am now in book 4. Which is 51 hours. No, sorry, 41. 41 hours long audio. It's so good. It's so good that I have a really hard time tearing myself away from it to watch Flosstubes. But I do occasionally. And like I said, these 3 ladies there. But I know these books came out 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago, 1995, the first one was released, and I never heard of them. They were on a New York Times bestseller list for a while. I never read them. So good. So good. They're all like 800 pages, which is why the audiobook is so long. And I don't want to take away cross stitch time to read a book that long, so the audio is really good. Highly recommend. Rosamund Pike only read the first one, but you can get copies of. There's a husband and wife team that do an excellent job. Whenever it's from a male point of view, he reads, and when it's from a female point of view, she reads, and they switch back and forth quite a bit in the books. So good. So good. Cannot recommend enough. So that's kind of my late obsession lately, but I do manage to watch 1 or 2 Flosstubes a day, the shorter ones, and I speed them up a little bit. Please speed me up too. That way you can watch more and support more people. I highly endorse watching Flosstube videos at a faster speed. All right. I guess that's it. I will see you in another 2 weeks. Thank you again so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, have a great 2 weeks. Cheers!